This is a fair and unbiased review of the ADCaster C1-K1 streaming podcast audio kit from Comica. All voiceover audio in this video has been recorded with this unit, and it is not processed or filtered in any way, so what you hear is what you get. Comica did send me this kit to review for free, but that in no way has any influence on my opinion of this device. All opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone. Included in the box for the Comica ADCaster is an all-metal microphone, model STA-X2S. Here is the sound card. It's made of mostly plastic, but feels fairly well built for what it is. Just don't drop it from too high up and it should be fine for most people's everyday use. Here's paperwork, which is probably boring. This box is like an ogre. It has layers. And on the second layer we get an audio cable, XLR to 3.5mm, and a USB-C to dual XLR breakout cable. Here's a shock mount made of rugged plastic, a metal pop filter, a USB-C to USB-A cable, an audio cable, TRRS on both ends, a USB-C to USB-C cable with a USB-A adapter on one end, another audio cable that is TRRS on both ends. Here's the neck of the mic stand. It's made of a rugged metal. And this is the metal mic stand base. It's good and solid and heavy. Not bad at all for a pack-in stand. Okay, so as far as what the Comica ADCaster sounds like with the included mic, you've been listening to it this entire time. I recorded the beginning voiceover of this video with the Comica ADCaster and the included mic. Now I will say that this device is leaps and bounds ahead of the F-Deuce SC11 sound card that I reviewed a few months ago. And this is very functional and it does a lot of what it says that it's supposed to do. There are a few imperfections with it, and I'm going to get into those imperfections along the way as I record this video. But overall, I think this is a really good device. With that being said, one of the major imperfections, in my opinion, that comes with this is the actual microphone itself. And as you can see, this thing is freaking massive. This takes up a lot of real estate on your desk, and there is a lot going on here. Between the stand, the shock mount, the microphone, and the pop filter here, as you can see, this thing is pretty big. And if I were to use this long term, I would probably put this microphone on a boom arm. Now, I personally don't think the microphone sounds bad, but I don't think it sounds really particularly good either. It's a cardioid condenser microphone, and I'm not a fan of those. Basically because my room is not sound treated, so any kind of as you can see, the microphone is here, my keyboard is over here. If I start typing, it's picking up a lot of noise. If I tap the desk, if I drop things on the desk, it's really going to pick up every little noise in the room. If my dog walks into the room, I've got a hardwood floor back here, you're going to hear every little clack and click as he walks through the room. So this microphone is okay, does what it's supposed to do, but I think it's odd that they included a cardioid condenser microphone with this system, because I really think this system is aimed at your beginning podcaster, and I think a dynamic microphone would have been a lot better to include with this system, because I think a lot of people's rooms, like mine, are not going to be sound treated if they're just getting started. If your room is sound treated, you probably have something better than this already. Now the good news is, if you want to go with a dynamic microphone and save some money, I picked this one up for $10 off Amazon. This is the F-Deuce 9.0S. It's up to like $13 now. Maybe it'll go up, maybe it'll go down, but anyway, this is a killer microphone that you can get for really cheap. It's a dynamic microphone, and you can plug it right into this system and have a dynamic mic instead of the cardioid condenser that comes with it. Another thing that I really don't like about this microphone is where the cable plugs into this mic. When you use the included shock mount, the cable goes in underneath where the shock mount threads in, and you can't hit the clip. I'll give you a visual here. You can't hit this clip to unplug the mic cable. This sits inside the threading, and you've got to basically unthread the mic and pull it up and out of the shock mount before you can unplug the cable. It's a terrible design flaw as far as I'm concerned. Aside from that, the mic is okay. It doesn't sound bad, but in my opinion, it doesn't sound good either. It's just kind of a middle of the road, meh kind of microphone. So if you do want to use additional mics with this system, it includes this cable. This is a USB-C to dual XLR breakout cable, and it's listed R and L for left and right. This is something where I wish they would have marked this 1 and 2, because L, I believe, is mic 1 and R is 2, and these are not mono. It's dual mono per channel. So if you plug a mic into L, it's going to play dual mono on mic 1, and if you plug one into R, it's going to play dual mono on input 2. The other thing that I really wish they would have done is I wish they would have made this longer. So you've got about a foot to work with here. Now you can plug XLR cables into this and extend it, but it just would have been nice to have maybe 3 feet of this, because if you've got 2 people and they're using just the included cable, they're going to be able to get about 2 feet away from each other. And in a 2-person podcast setup, come on. But anyway, like I said, you can actually plug XLR cables into this and extend it along that XLR cable. We're going to test these cables out now with the dynamic microphone that I was talking about earlier, and you can hear what that sounds like. Before I switch over, though, I do want to show one more thing, and as you can see here, the audio from this included mic is turned up on channel 1 to, it's about, I got it at about 4 bars now. This included microphone is extremely loud. And it's not just because this is a cardioid condenser mic and this is this over here is a dynamic mic. The difference, this is going to be a lot quieter. I even tested out another cardioid mic, the cardioid mic that came with my Scarlett 2i2 system, and it is even way quieter than this mic. This mic is extremely loud and extremely sensitive. So just keep in mind that I've got this turned up to about level 4 right now, and when I switch over to this microphone, pay attention to that because you'll see a massive difference. Okay, so I've got this microphone plugged in on channel 2 now, and as you can see, I am considerably closer to this microphone than I was the other microphone, the one that came with this system. And as you can see here, I've got the gain all the way cranked to maximum on here. And this is what you're going to need to do to get this kind of sound out of this system with most dynamic microphones. But the upside is that this is going to knock out a lot of the background noise. So if I start typing over here, it's not going to be near as loud, and if I drop things on the desk, it's not going to pick up quite as bad as the included cardioid condenser microphone does. But again, this is what this system is going to sound like with a dynamic microphone. Again, this is a $10 microphone. You can get a lot better microphone than this to use with this system, but I just wanted to illustrate that you don't have to break the bank to get a decent mic to use with this system. Now I'm going to switch back to the microphone that's included with this system because this is a review of that setup. Okay, so now that I'm back on the included microphone, we can go over the features of this sound card. And one of the things that I forgot to mention up to this point is that if you have a microphone that requires phantom power, you can press down on these inputs and it'll send phantom power to that particular microphone. So if you've got a mic on input 2 and it needs phantom power, if you push down on this knob, light here turn blue, and if you press it again, you can do the same thing with 1. The manual for this microphone here says specifically not to use phantom power with it. or it could become damaged. So just keep that in mind if you do get this system. Don't use phantom power on this included mic. But it does work on both of these inputs. So anyway, going through the rest of the setup, we've got some EQ settings that we can change on the mic, and that is by tapping the EQ text here. So we've switched to deep now, then to nature, then to bright, and going through again, we tap EQ again, and that turns EQ off. With all of these presets, one of the things that I don't like about this is that you have to cycle through the presets before you can turn it back off. So for example here, if I use reverb and I turn reverb on to get the echo effect, and it goes to room, now I can't just turn that back off. I actually have to switch to stage, which sounds like this, and then hall, which sounds like this, and then I can hit reverb again, and that turns reverb back off. It's kind of annoying that you have to cycle through every setting before you can just turn that setting back off. And where it really becomes a pain is when you get into these voice effects. So I'm going to hit FX now, and this is tune. This is like an auto tune. So if I wanted to turn this off right now, I would have to be quiet and cycle through the rest of these before this shut back off. But going through the rest of the effects, this
is the female effect. This is what my voice would sound like if I were a female, according to this device here.
This is, I guess, what I would sound like if I were a male. And this is what I would sound like if I were a robot. So intergalactic, planetary, planetary, intergalactic, intergalactic, planetary. It's enough of that. And this is what I would sound like if I were a monster. So now that we've gone through all of those, if I hit FX again, it turns them off. So now I'm back to my normal voice. Again, I think those are pretty cool, but the it's something I would never use, and the limitation of needing to cycle through all of them just to turn them back off is kind of annoying.
So it would be great if you could just
like double tap. It would be great if you could just double tap the effect really quickly and then it just, defaults back or something like that, but unfortunately, that's just not the case. So getting into these buttons down here, we've got some preset soundboard effects. So we've got applause, we've got laughter, we've got cheering, we've got awkward, and here we've got custom, and the way that this works is you're going to hold this button down and it'll glow, then you record your sound effect, and then you hit the button again, and that stores the sound effect. You can do this with any audio source that you run into the device. I'm just going to do it with my voice now. But if you wanted to set this up with like a sound effect from a phone or a computer or anything that you run into these other inputs up here, you can do it that way. But here we go. I'm recording a custom voice track on the custom button. Mic check 1 2 3, mic check 1 2 3 4. And now I'll play it back. I'm recording a custom voice track on the custom button. Mic check 1 2 3, mic check 1 2 3 4. Okay, so, and as you can see here, this device comes with this card labeling what each sound effect is. It actually comes with 2 of them, and they're cardboard, so you can probably flip them over and write whatever you want on here if you wanted to custom label your custom sound effect. The way you control the audio levels for these buttons is with this center button right here, and you can see that out is lit up here. If I switch over to the headphones, this controls the volume for the headphones, and you can see there's a blue ring around here. The more lit around this knob the blue ring is, if I keep turning it, it's peaked out right now. If I tap it again, this is going to switch over to out. So we've got out there now. So if I roll this knob back, this blue light is going to go down as I roll the knob back. So now I've got the volume level really low, and if I hit one of these custom, I'm going to hit applause here, you'll see that it was quieter than it was when I had the knob cranked all the way up. And that's how you do that. These buttons across here are different mic effects that you can apply. So denoise is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to denoise your mic and cut out background noise at the cost of sound quality. So I'm going to turn that on now, and as I talk into it, it should cut some of the noise out. Loopback, I do not have set up on this device. And to be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure how to set up loopback. Loopback basically is going to take audio from your PC and mix it in so that you can record like desktop audio while you're doing this. I record everything through OBS, so I've never needed a loopback feature on anything I've ever used. So, but that's what that is for. Ducking, when you turn this on and you use any of these sound effects, if you have ducking turned on, what it's going to do is lower the volume of these sound effects and give priority to a microphone. So the way that works is, I'm going to test that out now. I'm going to turn ducking on. Then I'm going to hit one of these audio sound effects, and I'm going to start talking. And what it should do is it should lower the sound effect and give priority to my voice. So, and now as I talk, it should lower the sound effect and give priority to my voice. And mute over here does exactly what it says. It mutes the audio for the entire system. So if I mute this, hear anything, and now that I've unmuted it, the audio comes back. So over here I've got this cable plugged in. It's basically plugged into a wall outlet. This is the charger for the built-in battery. So if I unplug this, if I were using this with something that couldn't power it through the USB cable, say like I'm not using a USB cable, but I'm running a device from, like, say, the output into a camera, this has got an internal battery, and it's going to stay charged for, I think, around 6 hours. And yeah, that's how that works. And this is your battery meter right here to let you know how long it's charged. So we're at a full charge now. Over time, that's going to go down, and eventually, I'll shut up. You know how battery meters work. Okay, so you can plug your phone into this device, and there are two ways of doing it. You've got a Bluetooth switch over here, and you can pair your phone and run it in through Bluetooth, or there's this included cable here, and this is a TRRS on one end and also TRRS on the other end, and what that's for is to plug into the headphone and mic jack combo on most phones. So really, honestly, I think the easier way to do it is just to use the included cable, and that's going to carry the built-in input audio from this system and put it through the microphone of your phone, and it's going to pull the audio back out of the phone and use it as input audio on here, and that goes into this out 1 and out 2, so you can hook two phones into that if you so choose. Doing it through Bluetooth is going to work the same way. It's just going to be through a wireless Bluetooth connection. I've got Bluetooth ready to pair now, so I'm going to pair my phone with it through Bluetooth, and now we can see that it is connected for calls and audio, and we're good to go. So now what I'm going to do is bring up some audio to play on through this device through the phone. Okay, so here we go. I've got a track loaded up. I'm going to hit play now, and
check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. I just wonder if ducking pulls the audio down. And go audio control through the phone. If I turn the volume up on the phone, down on the phone. So yeah, that's how that works. So down here on the side of the device, on each side, we've got a headphone jack for audio out for audio 2, and a headphone jack for 1. Now I wish the way this were set up was that you could hear the microphone from audio 1 on headphone jack 2 and vice versa, but no, it's just all audio out on those. The reason that I wish it would do that is because most people don't like to hear themselves talk in a headset as they're speaking into a microphone. It can be distracting for a lot of people, myself included. You've noticed I haven't worn a headset this entire time. Some people can be trained to do it over time, but let's say you're doing a podcast and you have a guest who's never spoken into a microphone before, and you put a headset on them and they hear themselves talking, they're going to become distracted from listening to themselves talk. That's how most people are anyway. So I wish you could filter that out through each mic jack, but unfortunately it's not possible. And the last bit that I have to go over with this is the inputs up top here. So we've got our microphone coming in on input 1 here. We've got another input for input 2. We would need another one of these cables to do that, and this system only came with one of those cables. We've got an auxiliary input, so this is going to be your standard 3.5mm TRS jack. This is for speaker out for like PC speakers, and this is output 1 and 2. This is to go from this output with a TRRS connector to a TRRS input, basically 2 other phones or tablets, and this is what you can use on these 2 outputs here. And finally, this dial here controls the volume of your auxiliary input. So my final thoughts on the Comica ADCaster 1. Overall, I think it's good. There are some quirks with it, like I'm not a fan of the included microphone, but if you do switch over to a dynamic microphone, you may want to pick up something like a Clark Technic audio booster, which will then, you'll be able to use phantom power with this device to give like 20 decibels of clean gain to that dynamic microphone. That'll help you mitigate the low audio levels with dynamic microphones with this system. This is an easy setup, I think, for a beginning podcaster, someone who's going to want to do live phone calls. They can take the phone audio in, and they can have a conversation live on air with that audio through their phone. It's a no fuss setup. And it does have some sound effects that you can use. I don't know that I would ever use those, but they are there for people who would want to use them. So overall, I would recommend this depending on what the price point is going to be. So at the time of this recording, this is a pre-release unit, so I don't have a finalized price on what this unit is going to cost. I will get with my people from Comica and find out what the release price is going to be, and hopefully I can put that right there by the time this video is done being edited. But overall, it's okay. It's a lot better than the F-Deuce SC11 that I reviewed a few months ago, and I think that for a beginning podcaster, this is probably going to be a pretty good setup. I would definitely probably use a different microphone though. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about this one. Thanks for watching. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.